pals, the 199th consecutive episode of The Green Room is upon us right now. It is Saturday night, and gosh, I am really, really ecstatic because we have two great human beings in the back who do so much. They are selfless, and we appreciate the time and dedication and also the availability because, again, guys and gals, we are doing this, and we are doing it the right way. We subscribe to conversation over controversy, and guys, we have a lot of fun as well. That's why we call this thing edutainment. We appreciate you all across the board, 53-plus pages. Thank you, guys and gals, for the viewership as well, 1.7 million, and we are proud to say the last 4 episodes of round 1 of this celebrity tournament has averaged 1.2 mil. Thank you so much for that. Guys, again, thank you for subscribing. Only 7 months, and we got about close to 70,000 subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button if you like what we do here, because these are living room conversations, not podcasts. I don't like the word podcast. It's kind of, think of the word podcast. It sounds like an alien casting call. I don't like the word pod. It's so dry and cold. I like things with warmth. But guys, we have a lot of warmth over here. Buckle up because this is going to be fun. And of course, guys, we have already in this tournament, we've seen 119 Hall of Famers from the world of sports, music, and not to mention professional wrestling, along with Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Emmy, Golden Globe, AMA, WGA, and Olympians, all competing for the pride and the prize. But it's not about the size. It's about the quality that we offer over here. Quality human beings. And guys, at the end of the day, this tournament may be the backdrop. Yeah, you win 13 grand if you win it all. Yes, of course, you win a trip to 2 for Greece, 5 days, 5 nights. But at the end of the day, you get to learn about human beings. I know this sounds sappy, but it's about the human experience. Strangers become friends through this medium that otherwise might be cold. It's very warm in this place we call the Green Room. So thank you. And again, thank the luminaries who are part of this because they are giving us their time, their mind, their heart, their soul. So if you're a fan of fiery, unbridled passion, that intro you just watched says it all, as it can melt the South Pole. This place we call the Green Room is filled with edutainment that has plenty of heart and soul. It's time I listen to Stanislavski and take a beat as I process everything in real time. This is the 199th consecutive episode of The Green Room, a feeling that cannot be expressed through a mere rhyme. With a bevy of views on 53-plus pages week in and week out, innovation is our name and the sweat is the sweet. By that I mean dedication, labor, and innovation only arrive when your effort is absolute, so put that in a tweet. And in this celebrity tournament that has captivated the masses, the field is one of a kind. Luminaries from all walks of life gathering to compete for the pride and the prize. This is truly a sport of the mind. Sure, the numbers are fantastic, guys and gals, but what's even sweeter is the sweat. By that I mean good old-fashioned work ethic. Wholehearted passion, effort, and consistency never lead to regret. The good bard himself, Mr. Shakespeare, said, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to." And to me, those words ring oh so true. It means that you are the author of your story. Don't edit your vision due to others that secretly prefer to boo while attempting to obstruct your view. With 13 grand and a trip for 2 to Greece and becoming the first champion of the star-studded field, a lot is on the line. But you, our audience, the engine that makes this thing go, are the sweet nectar that we appreciate like fine old wine. As strangers become friends and we all come together, let's remember that we're closer than one might surmise. Limitless visions of innovative bliss experienced by an ensemble is the vision behind these eyes. Don't ever hate the flower for starting out as a seed. Long-distance running is essential. This isn't a stampede, so don't run anyone over on your way to the top. Focus on yourself and never forget to cheerlead. Root for your loved ones and lift people up. This human fortune cookie hopes that we've all agreed that positivity is something that we can never concede. With that, guys and gals, I want to bring in our first participant, who's a great friend, and I think this quote is very apropos. Friendships that transcend social distancing are something that we should all value. A million your amazings will never convey how much I cherish this next friend. My gratitude for her way of being and her honesty and warmth is something I never take for granted because she's as genuine as they come. The language of the eye and the ear and the gift of human connection is what it's all about. When speaking with her, there's a sense of great elation. One can never pout. Her body of work has always been honest and truthful, as her stories always captivate. Her works of art that she's been able to create always translate as we relate to her ability to illustrate as she helps elevate those around her to new heights. As a fellow screenwriter, her literary works are timeless and can move us so many different ways. She will always continue to amaze, and I shall always give her praise for minutes, hours, and days. And in me, she has a friend, even when it gets chilly and windy. So put your hands together for a dear friend and human being. Last name Pickett, first name Cindy. Cindy, welcome to the Second Chance Bowl, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here with you.
Likewise. I meant everything that I said. You are an absolutely positive human being, and it's been a joy, much like that clip indicated when you brought up. I want to tell you as well, virtually at least here, it has been a joy getting to know you as a friend. You really do care about others. It's a joy working with you behind the scenes on projects as well. But, you know, the friendship that we have, I think, is an indication of how right through this screen over here, there can still be human connection. We're doing that over here, and you're a big part of that.
Thank you. Thank you. You make it happen.
Nope. I'm just here. I'm just the guy with a funky tie. But Cindy, I do have to bring this up. I like to clash. I'm a guy that likes to clash with my color scheme. But you look amazing, my friend. And I got to ask you a question. You know, a lot of people are in this thing, in this tournament. Of course, at the end of the day, the real prize is getting to know each other and learning. And of course, bonding, even though we might seemingly be different on the inside, we're not. But at the end of the day, trip for 2 to Greece, 13 grand on the line, 119 Hall of Famers and luminaries all competing in this thing. Would it be nice to win the whole thing, my friend?
Yes. I always wanted to go to Greece.
There you go.
All those white buildings and yes. Thank you. Yeah, I would love that.
I got to tell you as well, Mick Foley and Sergeant Slaughter absolutely cherished you when you were on previously with them a few months ago. As you were able to see as well, just true gentlemen, and you were such a great part of that incredible panel that night as well.
They were wonderful. Yeah. They even let me sing and made me feel comfortable with it. It was great.
You make a lot of people feel comfortable when you're singing because you have been doing it, as you mentioned before we went on, for quite some time. You still do it daily. You still sing daily. I do. I wake up singing. A song comes to my mind, and it's important, I think, to, you know, and what's happening in the world today and everything. I think singing and dancing, you have to kind of do that every day. Do you have a go-to song, a song that you always? No, I literally, things pop into my voice, you know, like this morning it was Nowhere Man. Please. Oh, okay. Yeah. I had this Butch Patrick song pop in my head. You remember Butch from the Munsters? Oh, sure. Yeah. He had a band in the 70s. He's been a part of this tournament. And on the phone last week, he sang a song to me. And for some reason, even though I never heard it, I can't get out of my head right now. Oh, okay. Sing it in the morning. No, maybe I should sing it, though, because my voice is awful, and I might get it out of my head if I do hear myself. That could work. I guess you're right. It's a new strategy. It's a new approach. But, my friend, I'm going to put you backstage momentarily and bring in our next participant. Okay. Thank you. Great Cindy Pickett, guys and gals. To know her is to appreciate her. And I'll say the same about our next participant, who may not want to take roses, but he should, because he means a lot to a lot of people, because he is selfless. Guys and gals and pals, the quote I have for this gentleman is, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. The true secret of happiness lies in taking a genuine interest in all the details of daily life. These sentiments all apply when describing the following participant, because to know him is to see his heart. In a world filled with questions, it is comforting to know that there are simple answers when it comes to certain people. For instance, this man's honesty, his integrity, his word, his passion and compassion. There are no questions when it comes to all of the above, because he's a quality human being. Guys and gals, our third participant grew up in Ohio watching the original Sheik and others compete for a promotion called Big Time. When cable TV, TBS, and Georgia Championship Wrestling arrived, so due to his purpose, he knew this by age 14. Some may not be privy to his beginnings while he attended a camp run by the Andersons, Ole and Gene. To say that this man paid his dues is an understatement, as his talent and passion are second to none. He's intelligent, direct, honest, tireless, logical, articulate, and he can also have some fun. His courage is consistent. You can rely on it like a Michael Jordan free throw. Helping kids and hopefuls is his canvas more beautiful than any Van Gogh. He's attempting to make it to the second round of this star-studded tournament, where he'll be sure to bring the gusto. All of you watching, always bring his name up, rightly so. He's a friend that I appreciate fully, as his class is something that he will always bestow. He's sincere and genuine and can make you laugh like a mid-90s Ray Romano. They know his name around the world, from Glasgow to Monaco to Kosovo to Moscow, and even in the wintertime, his smile can melt the snow. So why don't you all grab a gyro and a glass of Merlot? May not be a good combo, but regardless, I can tell you that you're all feeling quite gun-ho, as his impact is quite the presence, like Arnold kicking butt in Commando. Who am I bringing in? The mystery will be history. In a second, you'll know. Might have figured it out. This isn't a whodunit like Hitchcock's Vertigo, so get up and enjoy this ride like a Texan in a rodeo. Have you put the pieces together and figured it out like a common game of dominoes? I can rhyme the word pro by bringing up his last name now, but I say no. There's more to this man, as he's a comedian, storyteller, entrepreneur, public speaker, and so much more. So why don't I bring him in? Okay, I shall. Put your hands together for a humble, kind, multifaceted human being. Last name Snow, first name Al. Al, welcome to the Second Chance Bowl, my friend.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much. That is probably, without a doubt, unquestionably the best intro I have ever had. That is just incredible. I mean, the way you literally like wrapped it or rhymed it or just put it together was astounding. I literally was excited and looking forward to whoever the next guest was. I was like, who is it? I don't, this announcement can't be me. Is this too good? I mean, it's yeah, thanks.
Of course it's you, my friend. Yeah, you deserve it. Al, I'm the same way. My father's the same way, but I have to ask you, are you one of those kinds of guys that would prefer complimenting others than receiving compliments? You don't really take your roses, my friend.
Absolutely, yes. It's not about complimenting, it's about serving others. It's about, that's what, being a human being is about how can you serve others. The best advice I think I ever got was from Tony Robbins, reading this book years ago, ages ago now, about how you could be more successful by helping others be more successful as well.
Sure.
And I've kind of tried to do that. I hope, I don't assume, but I hope that I've kind of done that through my life, is that by, lifting others up, I've lifted myself up.
Sure.
So.
You've done that. You've done that wholeheartedly. Again, not to embarrass you here, but I do have to bring this up to our viewers who are watching here on Saturday night. You did something remarkable, but it's something that you don't give yourself credit for. You saved a human life, which is, I don't want to bypass that, Al. I think that is absolutely incredible. But I also think that I
was in the right place at the right time. And, we both, thank God, came out of it okay. And, I didn't do anything any more than anyone else would do. I just happened, to be there in that moment.
It's a big deal.
To be able to take action and
sure,
and to help him. So,
many of your contemporaries are not shocked when they heard that Al Snow did that, because they always say the same thing: to know Al is to appreciate him, and a lot of it is your honesty and candor, but also your ability to listen to people. You're a very good listener. I want to ask you a quick question here. Do you believe? Because we do conversation, not controversy, but there's something I wanted to ask my history teacher about 2 years ago. When I taught history, he inspired me and always asked me if I can do my best to continue asking questions as an adult. Do you think there's controversy in truth?
Not at all. No.
I agree.
Not one bit. No, I don't think there's any controversy in truth. I think that, we all seek and hope to achieve some universal truth. I think that's maybe part and parcel of the meaning of life, is that we're all here desperately trying to really seek the truth of what life really is. And really, I think the truth, personally, for me,
sure, is
that we're all stories. Every one of us, every experience you have is a chapter. Everything that occurs to you is to tell a story. Be aware, no matter what you do, whatever you ascend to, whatever you aspire to,
sure,
that at the end of the day, the only thing you can really leave behind are just stories of yourself.
That's very true.
Just stories. And then, of course, the only time you really die, is when they stop telling stories. Think about Genghis Khan. Think about Julius Caesar. Think about people that are still prevalent and are still relevant to this day for one reason, because they created stories that you still tell to this day.
True.
So, and everything in your life, everything is going to die. Everything is going to die. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a story.
It's very true.
And why mourn the loss of one story when by completing that book, you now get to go and tell another story?
There's so many myriad possibilities. You're right. If we don't surrender to self-doubt as well.
You're writing your own story.
Yes.
You literally are writing your own story. So just go Make up whatever story you want to make up. Nobody's controlling it. Just make it up as you go along. That's all I've ever done.
In acting, they always tell you to stay present. It seems like you're someone who does stay present.
I just live in the present. That's
Yes.
all I've got. I don't have a past. A past is not real. It's
right.
It's illusion. You know, it doesn't exist anymore. And the present's not here, so you don't have that. So what do you have? You just have now. So write your own story.
Well said. That's so well said. I'm going to bring in Cindy, but I just want to once again tell you that because of the experience I had brought up to you briefly before we went on over here, before we clicked the record button with a cousin of mine and something about drowning, and I mentioned this. My heart was deeply touched by the valor that was on full effect when you did what you did, Al. So thank you. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you, but I don't know if it was valor. I just reacted and did what you do. You know what I mean? Anybody else would have done.
As far as doing is concerned, would it be kind of cool to win this entire tournament? 119 Hall of Famers and luminaries.
God. This would be amazing if I could pull this off. It would just be another accomplishment. I put another.
What would be the most, I guess, in terms of just the prizes concerned? We have trip for 2 to Greece, 13 grand.
Greece.
The Greece trip.
Go to Greece. I don't care about money. Who gives two shits about money?
The Greece thing.
Anything.
Yeah.
To go somewhere else, to experience. I got to tell you, because I just have to go on Antarctica, and then I've been on all 7 continents.
Wow.
You know, and I probably, luckily, you know, been in probably 42, 43 different countries.
That is incredible.
The most amazing thing is to go and travel and go to see things and go to be and experience a culture. And you find out, Avi, that no one's different. No one. Everyone, if you go in the Middle East, if you go in Australia, you go in Tasmania, you go in India, you go in China, you go in Japan, you go in Iceland, you know what they have the conversations in the bars and the restaurants? The same as you do here. They all care about their families. They all care about being able to provide for them. And they all care about their safety and how living a good life.
It's so refreshing to be able to witness that too. It's so refreshing because of everyone having their preconceived notions all the time until they experience something that you have by realizing that at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all one and the same. I like that.
We all culturally, you know, is a little bit different, but you know, at the end of the day, we all want the same things.
Sure.
And people don't go to war. Governments go to war.
So true. That's so very true. Al Snow, I'm going to introduce you to Cindy right now here. Bring her on screen. Thank you again.
Can't wait.
Cindy, I know you told me the place that you would like to go to on your bucket list as well. Cindy, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Hello. We met yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Our viewers don't know that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I agree I think I've always said that everyone should write their story when they get to a certain age, you know, when we slow down and have time. And everyone has a story. Everyone has an interesting life. And no one does that anymore. Occasionally, someone famous will write a memoir, but we all have an interesting story. And so I totally agreed with that.
And I think the most important one is the current chapter in our book of life, right? So
it's the most interesting.
You can write your story at any point in your life.
Sure.
You can.
With every decision you make and every choice you make.
Yep.
You are the author you're not a victim. You can, you know, make it whatever you want to make it. So just make it.
And you were right when you said, Avi, or was it you, Al, that said this what we do here is edutainment.
Yeah.
Educated entertainment.
Sure. That's the goal. Before I decided to do this, as you know, Cindy, I was writing comfortably, professionally for a studio and didn't know anything about this microphone or headsets. I didn't want to be bothered with social media. But when I decided to do this, because my literary agent had asked me to get involved, it wasn't about opening up my Rolodex and calling people. That came later. I said, I'm going to do this if it could help people. And during COVID, I felt like a lot of people maybe had time on their hands. And if there was a way to bring people in together and make them realize that status doesn't necessarily matter, And their upbringing doesn't necessarily matter because, as Al had pointedly pointed out, we are all one and the same with the same goals and the same mindset. We may just not have the foundation. Some of us have a foundation that's rock solid, others don't. And it was sad to see people build personal prisons that they built out of their own fears. And I figured if we could just break away from that somehow through conversation, we can all benefit from that. So that was sort of the I guess the kick in the butt I needed to do this. But without you and Al and everyone involved in this, I got to tell you, you guys have been able to, in a courageous manner, showcase your heart through this tournament. Maybe the pride and the prize is the backdrop, but the real prize is being able to have conversations, make new friends, and realize, once again, as Alice stated, that we're not different after all. So I love that.
You know, there was an article talking about being one, all of us being one, article in the New York Times in the magazine section. It was about how we as humans don't just live on the earth, we are the earth. We are of the earth. And it's a long article, and it goes into a lot of, science and, but it made me think differently for some reason, because, we're on the earth, we walk the earth, we're, superior, we feel, but we're not. But the rocks are of the earth, the trees are of the earth, and we all are organic part of this earth, this orb that we live on. We're all one, we're all the same.
Well said.
We get so messed up with government and with different parts of our brain that are different than the parts of someone else's brain.
What affects my brain sometimes, before we start with topic number one, there's some questions that I've been trying to ask myself that I couldn't answer all these years, and maybe Al and Cindy could take a stab at this. Why do we park in a driveway and drive on a parkway?
Say it again. I'm sorry, my dog's barking.
Sure. No. Your dog might have some input on this. Why do we park in a driveway? I don't understand this, Cindy. Why do we park in a driveway and drive on a parkway?
To ask him first.
Just culturally, that's all.
That's it. Why do we say heads up when we actually duck?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got it.
No, questions that bother me. Why do we call it a building when it's already been built?
Oh, that's good.
Things that keep me up at night. But guys and gals, we're going to start with topic. When I say guys and gals, our viewers, the engine that makes this thing go, who are watching, of course. Guys, once again, the way this works is after topic number one, you'll vote on who resonated most with you. That's a compliment when you're voting for somebody. As you know, there's nothing bloodthirsty here. You're simply letting Cindy or Al, hey, here's who resonated most with me and why. And that's how we vote after each topic. There are 2 topics total. Topic number one is something I'll introduce now. I call this trading places. It has a lot to do with historical figures. They play a crucial role in shaping culture and values of a society. I think sometimes through their ideals, achievements, and legacies, they inspire the masses. They can redefine societal norms, and they contribute to the cultural fabric. The impact of these figures extend far beyond their lifetimes, perpetuating their influence on future generations, and they create a lasting legacy that can help shape the course of human civilization. With that, guys and gals, think of artists and writers like Leonardo da Vinci, William Shakespeare. They not only influenced their respective fields, but they contributed, again, to the cultural fabric of their societies. Their works continue to inspire creative minds and propagate cultural values. They create a sense of belonging and pride. But what else? What if Al and Cindy were granted permission, to go back as far as the 12th century and coax a historical figure to visit the year 2025, a year from now? Again, what if Cindy and Al were granted permission to go back as far as the 12th century and coax a historical figure to visit the year 2025? What if they were able to take residence in the year 2025 for a full calendar year with a singular objective in mind: to help society? In order for this to come to fruition, you would have to coax a current figure, maybe someone who will become historical in the future, from 2025 and have them trade places with the historical figure that you selected to travel with you in the future. So they'll be trading places for a year. You strongly believe that they can make an even greater positive impact on society, but who would you select and why? Who would you select to go back in time and stay there for a while? And who would you select in the past, essentially, to bring into the future to help society, and why? Cindy, you can go on as long as you'd like. Al can go on as long as he would like as well. When you are finished, Cindy, just give me the cue and I'll pop back in. But the floor is yours, my good friend, in a 3, in a 2, in a U.
Okay. Well, I had a hard time with this because there's a lot of historical figures who would be important today. I was talking to my son and he said Genghis Khan, who you mentioned, Al. He said because Genghis Khan, he offered people housing, healthcare, all of this. But he said, if you don't accept, I'll kill you. So I thought, well, maybe that's not the right person to bring back. So then I honestly thought, I was reading about a philosopher, and he said, really the major things right now facing humanity are nuclear war, climate change, and AI. And so I thought, okay, nuclear war. And then I thought Oppenheimer. So I decided to bring Oppenheimer back. And even though he was horrified that at what he had created when he found out that they were using it to kill people, speaking about morality and intention and all of that. But he was a pacifist before they asked him to do this. And he became an apostle for nuclear disarmament. And I thought, and he spent the rest of his life as a pacifist and working toward banning the bomb. So I thought if he came back, people of course would know who he was. I guess we get to have that. And he could create a forum with all the global leaders who are aware of the power of the nuclear war. I mean, the Russians are, we're now seeing who can do nuclear in space, but nuclear power has always kept us from having more big wars because we're also afraid that someone's going to push the button. So we don't want that. So no one pushes the button. Anyway, I thought he would be an important person to come back and create a forum where we could begin to use nuclear power for something for the good, because it is, there's a lot that we could use it for, like to save us, the planet, from all the greenhouse gases. And but I also thought, well, he's creating this forum for so we can have a disarmament of this nuclear power. I've thought about bringing Eisenhower back. I hope I can bring Eisenhower back to help the divide in this country. Eisenhower, of course, we all know who he was, and he was the, he was the power behind Normandy, and he was a great president, and he was able to bring people together, and he was respected by both sides. And we need someone with that gift to bring this country together, in my opinion. So while Eisenhower's bringing our country together because he's a true leader, Oppenheimer is helping ban the bomb and using nuclear power for the good. And the person I would send back is Greta Thunberg, because I don't know if it would do much good then unless they knew that she was time traveling and could tell them what was happening now. But I don't know if you know a lot about her, but at 10 years old, she's Asperger's, which is on the spectrum of autism. And when she was 10 years old, she was so impacted for a 10-year-old, which is rare, by climate change that she quit speaking. And when she was 15, I think you all know, she started these strikes, protests in schools. And now it's reached all over the globe that the young people are protesting in the schools, climate change. when she was 20, she got 100 scientists, environmentalists, writers, journalists, artists together to try and figure out how to spread the word. She was, of course, Times Person of the Year. Just extraordinary. So I thought if she could go back and somehow create a dialogue about what we're doing in 240 years since the Industrial Revolution started, we have created an atmosphere that's 50% more carbon dioxide than 250 years ago. It's just time we do something. So maybe if Greta went back, I don't know if she could do anything because I don't think there was that awareness then, but maybe in this particular forum, she could say, I'm a time traveler, this is what's happening, and I want to try and make a difference. So that's my history lesson for the day.
Thank you so much for that, Cindy. I think those are incredible choices because she was known and still is for the movement known as Fridays for Future, and has done so much as it pertains to climate control by being able to explain it with such passion and gusto. And she breaks a lot of barriers and inspires a lot of children who feel like they can't because of certain societal norms that don't allow them to speak up or have a voice. So she is the voice of many. And then you bring up Eisenhower, who, much to Nixon's chagrin, didn't like him when he was his vice president for 8 years. But you bring him up, and again, bringing up Eisenhower is so important, I think, in today, without getting political, because of the military-industrial complex. He warned Kennedy. He told Kennedy about the military-industrial complex, and Kennedy had to learn the hard way. 61, Bay of Pigs, that whole fiasco where essentially we were supposed to train a lot of Cuban refugees who were not militant. They were taxi drivers and lawyers and doctors, but they weren't trained properly. They were essentially destroyed by Castro and his regime. And as a result, Kennedy never trusted his military again. Right. And some say that obviously led to his persistence in making sure that we were only training the ARVN and the South Vietnamese in the Vietnam War and not being so proactive as we later on were during the LBJ administration. Right. So really, Eisenhower was to be credited for
he did a lot.
So much.
He was one of the first creators of NATO, and he also did so much for integration. And he was just, but he held the country together. There were always the Democrats and the conservatives and the liberals and but he was able. Of course, it was right after the war too, so the country had come together. Anyway. We need.
Yeah, no. He also warned everyone about how the space race would lead to something a bit more devastating later in that decade of the 60s. It started with the space race. It didn't end with the space race. But you're right. Again, when people bring up political figures, saying that they're just talking heads, if they're meant to inspire a future politician, that is meant to inspire a future human being that maybe wants to make a difference in the world, that's probably why they get involved in the first place. Mm-hmm. Or it's why they should get involved in politics in the first place until it gets too political.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, their viewpoints are skewed. I'm going to bring in Al right now. And again, ask Al the same question. But I want to ask you guys a quick question that has nothing really to do with this topic, if you guys don't mind. Right now, there's a lot of people that feel as if they have to respond to every critic because they surf the net. They're on social media platforms too often. Do you feel like people should quit trying to convince others to understand them when others are determined to misunderstand you just like that?
I think people are just trying to be heard. I mean, you're talking about social media like Facebook and, having people giving their opinion about what you're saying. Is that
it's
what
so prevalent right now, isn't it?
Oh God, no, it's, I try not to answer back when it really affects me because why?
Why are people? Well, that's the question. Why? And I want to ask Al what he thinks about this because, Al, again, you're very astute and direct. Why do you think people are affected by something so lifeless as a device?
It's communication.
Because everyone wants to be relevant.
Yep.
Everyone wants to be relevant outside of their circle.
Mhm.
Everyone wants to be famous. Everyone wants to be more important and have sway far beyond their realm of influence. And that's why everyone's on social media.
It's true.
And that's why they react. But why would you react? Quite honestly, one, it's not real, so who cares? And two, at the end of the day, the only people that I react to are the people that I care about and I respect. And why would I ever react to anyone on social media that with the push of a button, I could just eliminate from my life?
Yes.
I don't
Yes, that's
care.
very true.
You could tell me I'm the worst human being on the planet, and I just go block.
Yeah.
We're done. I'm not going to
But the next one says you're the best human being on the planet. So-
And the only reason you're telling me that I'm the worst human being on the planet is you're hoping, genuinely, subconsciously, inside of you, whether you want to admit it or not, you're desperately pleading that I do respond to you so that I can now validate you.
Yes.
And I can now give you an audience you didn't have. And I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So
It's you handle it, I think, in
continue
such
to
a perfect way.
wallow in anonymity, even though you desperately want to be famous. And be aware, anyone, you could, turd with two legs could be famous.
Sure.
But not everyone could be a star. And just because you're famous doesn't make you a star. So
Sure. I concur. And I think when I started doing this show and realized that fellow screenwriters were messaging me with this, how dare you be good at something you care about approach, it made me really sort of, I guess, go back to high school and go, hey, I guess these people aren't really friends.
who cares? Who cares?
Right. And then I got, yes.
Did they have any value in your life? Well, then what does it matter?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. And I appreciate that response because it makes perfect sense.
People say stuff about me all the time. You know what I care about? What my family says about me.
Yes. Yes.
My friends say about me. Not somebody I don't know that's
Yes.
on the other side of the country. I don't care.
In that
Say
regard, do
whatever
you
you
feel
want.
like avoiding a fight is a mark of honor?
Oh, no, not at all. I have no problem fighting. But
Sure.
why am I going to fight when by fighting you, all I'm doing is validating you? And
Yes.
that ultimately is all you want. Really, at the end of the day, is to pick a fight just to be validated.
Yes,
You're
you're
nothing
right about
more
that.
than a worthless bully. That's it.
I like the way you put that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people always try to, like, as you mentioned, reach for the stars. And maybe as sappy as this sounds, they can wake up and realize that they're the universe. They don't have to reach for the stars. If they just
Or
reach
maybe
from
that's
something.
why they're reaching for us, and that's why they're
Yes.
making remarks. Because we're
Such a
stars
great point.
and they're not.
Such a great point. I'm glad I asked you guys those questions. Thanks for sharing that, because I know our audience sometimes they'll message me and they're struggling with some of these issues day to day. So to be able to hear you guys expand on that, it means a lot to me and to the engine, our audience. Al, I'll ask you the same question. Again, if you were granted permission to go back as far as the 12th century and coax a historical figure to visit the year 2025, what if they were able to take residence in that year for a full calendar year with one objective in mind, to help society? Who would you choose, and who would replace that person? Who in current society, maybe a future historical figure, would go back and replace them? Whenever you're ready, good sir, the floor is yours.
Okay. Ooh, boy, that's a deep question. I base my answer on, how can I explain this? Everything in life, every decision you make has a price. Everything has a cost. You get nothing for free. And unfortunately, too many people these days try to get a free ride. They try to get the experience without the cost. Ages ago, if you made a decision, there was a preeminent price that was there in your face, not just culturally, but I mean, just physically. I mean, you had to go and do things. And I have two. I know I was only supposed to have one. I apologize, but I have two.
I had two.
So it'll be fair.
I knew.
and it's the timber, it's the nature of the person, I guess. There is a captain, I can't remember the captain's name, Turkish. They found this map. God, I can't remember where it was. It was a map of Antarctica. It's a map of the world. It's the Piri Reis map. There are other ones that were, you know, from even centuries before. But to think, you know, of people that, like this guy who went and mapped the world, and the risk, the ability to make that decision, to make that commitment, to be driven, that kind of passion, to that's a real leader, not politicians like what we have today. I mean, because they're not real leaders. You know, they're all self-centered and self-involved, and they're not genuinely willing to put themselves on the front line like that. To have a personality, you know, that would be willing to take that kind of risk, that could then manifest themselves during this period of time with the luxury that we all live with in this country, especially. You know, what they could do would be amazing, and what they could do to motivate and inspire others. The other one would be Nikola Tesla. One, because of his genius. I mean, the guy was, you know, granted, he was like, what I've learned from most high intellectual people is that they are not normal in any way. You know, they do not see the world the way the rest of us do. You know, and granted, he's going to work with the handicap, which he worked with back in his day, which was the prevention of the sharing of that knowledge and information that he had acquired with the general populace, because of the fact that everyone was too greedy and wanted to capitalize on it and not allow society as a whole to benefit from it. But I mean, think, based on what he was able to accomplish and create out of nothing, other than just his own intellect and passion and drive, to what he could do now with the tools that are present, you know, and the exponential amount that we've acquired. You know, granted, I'm sure there's, you know, when we get into the whole conspiracy theory and wearing aluminum hats and everything like that. And let's face it, you know, if you don't believe in any conspiracy theory, that's a bold statement. I mean, you know, the government's responsible for about 380 million people. I've been responsible for 6 human beings, and I lie to them all the time. So, you know, if I'm lying to my kids, what do you think the government's doing with you? So, you know, I mean, it's just, but really, I mean, to give him the tools and the opportunity to be in this space and time, the advancement of civilization, if it were allowed, you know, that comes down to that again, if it were allowed. And the same with, you know, the captain that went out and explored the earth and was literally able to create a map that, you know, described Antarctica, that was, you know, a fertile and green continent. You know, Vikings, you know, that left literally. I want you to go to the edge of the ocean, or a lake, just a lake, like go to the Great Lakes here in the United States, any large, massive body of water, and stand at the edge and just look out to the horizon. What do you see? Absolutely nothing for miles, you know. And these people just on a hope, a prayer, and faith and a passion, made a decision to go forward, and it's amazing. And we all have that capability in us. Every single one of us today have that capability in us. We just have gotten too comfortable to take advantage of it anymore. Every single person out there listening, all have every bit of that in you. You have the intellect, you have the creativity, you have the imagination. You have no idea what you're able to do, and what everything you think is impossible is not impossible. Everything is 100% possible. It's just you don't do it. You just don't do it. You could take control of your entire life. You could take control of the country. You could take control of society. All of us could. We just don't, because we're too complacent. We just enjoy what we have, And these guys, the captain that made that map, and Nikola Tesla, driven by passion, God, they could reshape society in so many different ways, if they were allowed to. And I would send Neil deGrasse Tyson. I like him. He's a pretty cool guy, pretty down to earth, but very super intelligent. I'd switch him with Nikola Tesla, and then see if he could use his intellect in spite of the challenges the way that Nikola Tesla did, and see if his passion matched up the same way. That would be fascinating.
Those are some great options there. Gosh almighty. I like what you said, and it really resonated with me, especially when you talked about how many things we can still discover.
Oh, there's so much. There's no end. I swear to you, I believe it in my heart. There is nothing you cannot do. Not every single person on this planet. Every person can do something. Everyone can. I mean, look at where we have come from to where we are now. And we only did it because people just like you and me, all of us right now on this show, literally just went, you know what? I got up today. I think I want to go do this. And that was it. That was all it took to literally make the wheel, build the pyramid. We put on aliens this and extra whatever bullshit.
Yeah.
It was because you made a choice. You made a decision. You woke up and you went, you know what? I don't like living like this anymore. You know what I'm going to do? I'm fix it. And you went and fixed it.
Yes.
Not a one of us are victims. Not one of us. We can, every day we have the power to fix and make our lives any way we want to make it. Just go do it.
Do it. I was in a class.
For God's sakes, just get the fuck up and go do it.
Just go do it. No, do it. You're right. And that's the word do. I know it's only 2 letters, but sometimes I find it very.
Well, it's like if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass. So
that's true too.
2 letters, smallest word in the entire English language, but it holds so much power. If. Well, if you just got the fuck up and went and gone and do it.
There was
I just read about Antarctica that it was once green, and that at some point we will find things. I mean, I have all these anthropology, archaeology things, and it showed a picture of what they thought it might be like and what we could find. And they're anyway. So when you mentioned Antarctica, it's like the last frontier, but there are things there we haven't even.
No, yeah.
And the greatest dichotomy of human existence is this.
Mm-hmm.
We literally are nothing. We think we have that much more of an impact than we actually do. We don't.
60% of planet Earth has not been discovered.
At the same time, we're everything, because without us, there's no story, and without a story, there's nothing.
True. That's true.
Well, it's funny you brought up Tesla, because they had asked Tesla, what made you continuously challenge yourself and work as hard as you did, going down the proverbial rabbit hole? And
because he's insane. He was a lunatic. That's why all of us that do this stuff that nobody else understands is because we're out of our fucking minds.
And just to add to that, because you're right, he did say that one of the favorite quotes I have of Tesla was, "It's paradoxically said yet true to say that the more we know, the more ignorant we become in the absolute sense, right?
Absolutely.
Because
And
it's
the
through
more you
enlightenment that we
now
become
search
conscious of our
out-
limitations. Yeah.
Because you now search out more answers. Because
Yes.
you realize as you grow and you realize how little you do know, and you force yourself to now try to get more answers. That's
the gift of getting older.
It is a paradox. Yeah.
I'm more curious, and I just.
And maybe Cindy also let things go at that point, right? Because Tesla also said the reason why he kept doing was because he didn't have people in his lives that played potential role of critics, a father, a mother, a sister, a sibling, a girlfriend, whatever. He didn't have to deal with that, so he didn't question himself as much as others might.
Yeah, and you need other people to balance you out. You really do. Yeah.
Speaking about us being a part of the earth, the other day I read about a tree. There's a palm tree somewhere that walks.
Yeah.
That every some season that it decides, it will uproot and walk and plant itself.
Yeah.
Just
independently of us, without even, and you're right.
Literally, just so you're aware, I mean, they say like grass, when you cut it and you smell it, that's it screaming.
Oh, yeah.
Grass.
Yeah.
So everything to some degree or another is sentient. There's no, we think just because, we are what we believe are the only ones that are actually self-aware, but there's so many other, things that are. But I mean, there's the natural chain and order of life as well, that you have to follow. So
maybe it's
really
unfortunate. I would
really
like to meet the person who subscribed to the advent of time and punch that person in the face, because essentially we don't have the time to answer questions. We have the time to ask them.
Well, we have all the time in the world.
If we made it.
It's a made-up construct.
It is a made-up construct. That's what I meant. I wish I could punch that person in the face, because we allow ourselves to think that we can dilute an answer or response with the excuse of, I don't have the time.
Right.
We have 100% control.
Yes.
Over everything based on one thing. One thing alone gives you the ultimate power. That's your decisions.
Yes, sir.
You can decide that you want to give something a certain amount of time, or you can decide I don't. That's your control. You're not a victim. You can control everything in your life based on one thing, your decisions. I will give this my attention. I decide I don't. We're done.
Are you guys fans of the game of chess?
I enjoy chess. Yeah, I'm not very good at it.
Do you know that situation that there's a situation in the game known wonderfully by that pungent German word Zugzwang.
Yeah.
It's when a player cannot make a move without worsening his or her fate. There's no solution that can eradicate the problem. No way for the player to win. And at that point, the player can keep resisting.
I will.
Or how do I put this? Or accept the futility of the situation, and they can resign.
I won't.
Right. And that word applies to our logic. Right.
I won't quit. I
right.
won't back up. I won't retreat. I'll just keep going forward.
That's so necessary. It is. And,
well, it is, because the greatest accomplishments, greatest achievements in mankind were made by one thing, just the willingness not to quit.
Yes. Never give up.
Yes.
That's one of my things. It is.
Can I ask you guys a question? Were you ever at any point when you were younger deterred when you were essentially giving yourself to the craft that you so excelled in? Were you ever buckled down by others? Did you ever go through that phase where you felt like you can't because you won't, and you won't because of others' opinions?
Me?
You and Al, yeah. Did you ever feel that way when you were younger, when you were striving, when you were trying to accomplish certain goals? Did you feel like other people's opinions had a certain effect on you, perhaps?
Well, I started out, my dad was a director, so I started out at age 6 on stage, and I went to all these UIL tournaments and all this, and basically I was such a shy only child. It helped me have a voice and become confident, and it taught me how to competition, you're not going to win everything. You're not going to lose everything, but it teaches you that you can't always have everything. You can't always win, but when you have an audition, you think you nailed it, and you did nail it, and they loved you, but they had someone else in mind that they didn't have to pay more or whatever, Sure. So I think I No, nothing ever deterred me. It was who I was from birth.
Al, would you concur
I
as well?
enjoy every moment of it,
Yeah.
except when you work with someone icky.
Yeah. Al, how about your experience? Would you concur a similar viewpoint in terms of not being deterred by others?
I made a decision, made a choice, and as such, I never thought or questioned or doubted or wondered. I don't know if that was a good thing or a realistic thing per se, but 42 years later, I'm still doing what I love to do. So
It's beautiful.
I tell people all the time, the only one real talent I have is I just don't give up, and not because I'm, tough or any of those typical things that people say. I think I make a choice and I make a decision, and then
Sure.
I faced, I've had this conversation several times on other podcasts.
Sure.
Where I don't really understand a couple things. I see on social media people saying, I'm grinding, I'm hustling, I'm this.
Right.
Listen, I can be honest. I've never been given anything in my life, ever. I quite honestly, not one thing. But I don't think I've ever ground for anything. I don't think I've ever hustled. I don't think I've ever sacrificed. And the reason I haven't is because I've done what I love to do.
Sure.
And if I'm doing what I love to do, how is that a sacrifice? How is that a grind? How is that?
Or a compromise of you as a human being. Yeah.
If what I'm doing is what I've chose to do. The other thing that I don't understand anymore that everyone talks about is like, I don't understand success. I don't understand failure. I don't get it at all. Like, what's success? What is it when you decide?
Sure.
Where is it that you're successful? Because I see lots of people that were quote unquote successful
because they put a monetary tag on their success.
Miserable.
Right.
And they don't seem very successful to me.
Sure.
In fact, most of the people that we all admire, the elite, are the most miserable, horrible human beings on the planet. Where do you succeed? Where do you fail? If you're doing what you love to do, even if it's in obscurity,
yeah,
why do you care? I mean, if you are enjoying what you do, that you are doing what you love to do, and hey, really successfully, if you were doing what you love to do and you didn't have to do anything else, aren't you really kind of succeeding anyways?
You're happy.
Yeah, you're not doing it on a certain level. You're not being noteworthy or notoriety or but how do you fail? If you choose not to continue to pursue what it is you want to do, isn't it a choice?
It is.
Instead of a failure?
It is.
Well, then where do you fail? I genuinely, I swear to you, because I've asked this question on numerous forums and podcasts, I don't get it. And
maybe you fail at defining, maybe you fail at defining the true meaning of the word success. Maybe a person could truly fail at defining what success is, because oftentimes we hear from people who are elders.
Well, how do you fail at anything? How do you fail at anything?
And not realize, and I was going to say this, my granddad said this one.
Not being able to define success is that you just don't know what it is.
Sure.
Well, then how is that a failure?
Well, I'll explain.
Ignorance isn't a failure.
Well, what about this?
How do you fail? How do you succeed? Where do you quantify it? And why are you all seeking it so much?
It's a very valid question.
It's a
very valid question.
I don't get it.
It's a very valid question.
I apologize. Maybe I'm a weirdo.
No, I want to bring this up. I'll just get your thoughts on this. My grandfather, many moons ago, had told me that he failed. He used the word failed, so it just kind of jotted something in my noggin right now. He had said many moons ago that he felt like he failed because he devoted much of his time to work without devoting his time to family, and only he could only realize that with a certain level of wisdom that he attained.
Family, but he didn't fail, and here's why: because he didn't devote his time. He devoted his time to work. He devoted his time to work because he devoted his work to his family.
Yes.
So did he fail?
Yes, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
You know,
yeah.
Why are we so wrapped up in this whole thing? And let's face it, come on, because everyone's so ridiculously superficial and so pedantic that you equate your success and your failure on what else someone else is doing, and what else someone has, and how much more notoriety they have.
You know what? The internet really, like, we all pick up our phone for when we first wake up, and you see all these people who, in my career, I think, oh shit, should I have changed my name? Oh God,
Yeah.
I know, but we read, we judge in a way. Every once in a while I think, God, I shouldn't pick up the phone, because sometimes it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough,
Don't bother me. I'll tell you that.
Well,
you're a guy.
I think even it's
I've learned in my life, what's the most important aspect in life? To me, the most important aspect in life is respect.
Yes.
More than love.
Yes.
Everyone will tell you can't love someone unless you love yourself. Bullshit. I know lots of people that love other people that don't love themselves at all.
That's very true.
You cannot love someone unless you respect them.
That's true.
And you can't respect them if they don't respect themselves.
That's very true.
You don't think people respect people that don't like them?
I don't care. Don't like me.
No.
I don't need to be liked. My most important thing is you will respect me, because I respect myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
And if you don't like me, because I've got lots of people that don't like me, I don't care. Don't bother me.
For me, that's hard to believe. It's hard for me to believe that, because in my
like,
many interactions
they
with you,
like
you're always
me, and then they don't like me, then they do like me, then they don't like me. I don't give a shit.
Well, I think, Al, because you bring up friends, I think every friendship could teach us about our own humanity. But the problem is that we're competing.
Hold on. I'm going to give you another, it's just my opinion.
Please.
You don't have many friends. You only have a few. You have friendships. But you know what a friend is? A real friend is someone who will put your interests before their own.
Yes.
Now, examine your life. How many of those do you have?
Not many people that would be there at my funeral on a rainy day.
Well, it doesn't matter about your funeral. I'll sell out my funeral. I know that. Shit. I'll have 3, 4, 5.
It's very true. We all have a lot of people in our lives, but they're only, and they become.
What I mean by that is it could teach us a friendship, and I wanted to bring that up earlier. Every friendship, not every friend, because you're right. There's a difference between. I could discern the difference between a friendship and a friend, but every friendship could teach us about our own humanity. Not so much based on the moral conviction we have towards them, but could teach us about our own.
Avi, please.
You don't think
so?
You
don't need somebody else to teach you about you. You know you. You know what we do? All of us do. We lie every day. All of us lie
to ourselves
every day. No, you don't. You shouldn't. You do. But you lie to everyone else. The one person you should never lie to is you.
I agree.
And we do constantly.
We do.
Be honest with your motivations, honest with your emotions, honest with what it is you get out. Every moment of life that you're awake is a decision based on a give and a take.
Sure.
And there's a certain amount that, hey, if I give this guy $1, I ain't giving it because I'm selfless. I'm giving it because it makes me feel good that I'm helping this guy out.
Sure.
Just be honest about it.
Sure.
Don't lie and make it into something else. Just tell yourself the truth. Period.
I agree with that.
Wait a minute. I don't like that person. Why don't I like that person? Well, not because I don't like them because they're a dick. I don't like them because of the fact they threaten me.
It's very true.
They make me feel less.
Interesting.
Oh, when you're just honest with yourself, you don't lie to you. well, life becomes a whole lot easier.
I agree.
Hey, I go on social media. Why? Well, because I want to be relevant. I want to be famous. I want to get opportunities. Well, just be honest. That's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to share anything. I'm doing it to get over. That's what I'm doing. Doing to get someone to respond and to like it. So that
Without
way,
needing
when
to
they
explain
don't
yourself,
respond,
without needing to
they don't
explain yourself
like,
to anybody. Right.
I don't
exactly.
need to because I don't
Right.
care.
Right. That's what I mean. But I think it's because characters
You care, don't you?
Listen, I do care.
Of course you
From
do.
the standpoint of the fact that I want people to respect me
Right.
as to who I really am. But I'm not trying to aspire to be or be liked
Sure.
by everyone.
By not being
There
true
are-
with, yeah.
There are, yeah, exactly. There are
real.
380 million people in this country alone. There are 8 billion people on the planet. There is one human being I can control.
That's right. That's right.
And it's liberating to have to subscribe to your ideology of life. And I think the reason for that
And
is
it works
because
for me. It may not work for everybody else.
No, but
works
it's
for
a great way to kind of, I think, be able to inspect oneself based on what you're bringing up here. A lot of it is because character is self-imposed discipline. A lot of times we kind of police ourselves, and that's fine, but we shouldn't be policed by others. It means that a character doesn't need to be policed because they police themselves. A person of high character locks themselves up in their own convictions and realizes, hey, I can solve this moral problem that I have or moral dilemma without having to rely on society to solve it for me. I don't need society to tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. I need to know that it's wrong. I need to be able to determine what's right and wrong by myself.
And you can, because you do. And
Yeah.
you know deep down inside your heart what is real and what's not. You don't need anyone to tell you what it is. If
You're very true. You're very right.
With yourself, when you wake up at the start of the day, you know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know what's black, you know what's white, you know what's up, you know what's down, you know what's right, you know what's left. You don't need someone to come and tell you. You don't need someone to dictate to you, you know, and you can make that choice. You can make that decision. That's it.
Sometimes doing something about that is liberating and also exhausting when you realize that others around you may not get it. But when you get to a point where it doesn't matter if they do or don't, it is probably the most freeing thing in the world. It really is.
Pretty much.
It's so freeing. Yeah, you're right, Al. And
that's what happens when, to me, you get older. You start not caring about you know.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and, you know, fuck you, you know.
We got more time behind us than we do in front of us. So who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I respect that.
You don't care what people think anymore.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be what I'm going to be. And I know pretty soon I'm not going to be here anymore. So you can like it or not. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. And if it does make you feel better, I love being able to learn by listening. And I know that sounds so simple, but yes, because I want to be able to say I'm wrong or I had it wrong so I can have it right later. I want to be able to learn, and being able for you to be as transparent as you are, Al, speaks to me. And I know that today in 2024, a lot of people don't want, we brought this question up earlier about whether the truth can be a place that frightens people because essentially they're intimidated by it. The truth is not controversial, and I would agree with you on that. But the truth is something that a lot of people escape today because they want everything wrapped up like a 22-minute sitcom. They want to solve their problems at the 22-minute mark and then go to sleep fulfilled completely. But it's not that simple. I love how you put it.
There are no problems. It's just what it is. Just figure it out. You'll always have a solution. You can always fix it.
Totally agree.
There's no way to make a mistake. Just do your thing and go forward.
Yes. I would always say, we talked to Cindy about this. I would tell my students, especially those who partook in the stage on theater, you don't make mistakes on stage, you make discoveries, because then you realize where to go and why you went where you went, as long as you ask the whys. So you're right. Keep asking the whys.
Same with life. Same
thing.
Definitely. Curiosity.
Just keep moving. That's it.
I love it, guys.
Just move.
From the heart, I really appreciate this. Thank you, guys. This was topic number 1. Guys and gals, we're going to ask you all the engine that makes this thing go to simply just in the comment section, leave a comment/vote on who resonated most with you and why. And we will move on to topic number 2 right about now.
Good evening. Hello. I am so excited to be here. What a way to start the Second Chance Bowl match. Engine, viewers, fans, everyone in the comments section on Facebook and YouTube. Go ahead and leave your votes in now. We will be tallying them in the back. Avi is keeping count. If you don't see it pulled up on screen, we still have it. We are still reading it. So leave those votes right there, right now, in the comment section for topic number 1. We have more to come with topic 2 and much more show after that. To get us started with those votes, I am voting for the person who I felt answered the question most completely, and that includes a reason for why he would have two particular people switch places and what they would do in the different times that we have this today and in the past with Nikola Tesla and Neil deGrasse Tyson. So my vote for topic number 1 is going to Al Snow. So go ahead, get your votes in. Al Snow has mine. Leave them in the comments section, and I am going to see what my colleague Howard Colato has to say.
Man, what an amazing conversation. And I just also want to say welcome to all the new viewers. Awesome to have you. Been loving your comments. So thank you. Thank you. Guys, again, keep on voting. This is where we're going to vote. My vote is for Al. Naomi, thank you. Very awesome. Very awesome. All right. So yeah, guys, now Engine, keep voting. All right. Al Snow has also my vote. T. Alvarez, very awesome. Hell yeah. And yeah, just bring this in. This is tough. I'm going to have to go with Al Snow. Very well thought out. Great vote, Dion. All right. James Ramsey, I feel Mr. Snow spoke closer to how I took and feel. Great observation, James. Thank you. Yeah. Ramon, what is up, buddy? I'm going to go with Al for this one. Yeah, I mean, hey, strong arguments, I think, by both competitors. I vote for Al on topic 1. Thank you, Chad. What's up, Chad? A man who is also in round 2. Yes, so Miss Pickett talked about there being an energy problem, right? I think we all agree. We're divided. Larry Lemley, I'm voting for Al this round. Very awesome. Thank you, Larry, for that vote. Appreciate it. And we're also not talking as a country. Nathan Lee, Al for this one. Awesome. Man, these votes are coming in. I'm sorry?
Bonsoir, Natalie. Al for this one. I completely agree. Ça va, Natalie, this evening?
Oh, I love it. Lester Cook, Al Snow. Thank you, Al.
Yes, thank you, Lester, for joining us and for voting. Get your votes in right now. You can see we are pulling them up. We are reading them.
Mike Trash, Al gets the 3 count. 1, 2, 3. I love it. Yeah. Here's your friend, Pink Sharpie. Well, there you go. Vote for Cindy. So, my vote is also going to go for Cindy. Sean Archer, I have to go with Al due to the Tesla. I should talk about Oppenheimer. He could bring back, and you could be able to use nuclear energy in a very constructive way, which I thought was very awesome. Best 2 out of 3, Mike Trash. Yes. Coming up will be one more topic, ladies and gentlemen, so do not go anywhere. She brought up Eisenhower, how Eisenhower could be able to bring us together, so that's going to be, so I definitely agree with that. And as well as Greta, she would bring Greta back and be able to create a dialogue with people. So yes, my vote goes to Cindy. All right, Julio. I'm going with Al on this one. Love his take, his view, and overall point within his answer, but love Cindy Pickett's too. Very hard and only first topic. This is going to be yeah.
It is. There is more to come with Cindy and Al in topic number 2. Leanna, thank you for joining us tonight. And here's Leanna's vote. Al Snow has Leanna's vote. That is another one for Al. Keep those votes coming in on YouTube, on Facebook. Right here. What a great first topic. Both were awesome. Absolutely, Chad. I could not agree with that more. Lawrence, Al Snow is my vote. A lot of intriguing stuff. I agree. And what about that conversation in between? between the topics.
I think
Ooh.
that's really where we get treated to such just amazing moments, amazing observations. I love those conversations.
Yes.
How's
We're really getting such an intellectual and spiritual treat here by this powerful conversation. Absolutely, Hauser. Hey, Ramona, welcome. Ramona, were you here for topic 1? Did you get your vote in? Make sure you do that. Suniti Alvarez, all the strength and vulnerability that all three are using. Ooh, Joseph. Thank you for voting, Joseph. He votes for Al.
Thank you, Joseph. Got that voted.
Who hasn't voted yet? Who haven't I seen?
Johnny
Johnny,
McKinney.
welcome, Johnny. Thank you for joining us tonight. Johnny votes for Al. This is episode 199 of The Green Room. Allison votes for Cindy Pickett. Another for Cindy. Thank you, Allison. Yeah.
Man, they're coming in. Coming in hot.
199 of The Green Room. Howard, that is 199 consecutive live episodes. Here is one from Christopher Farnan. This was a tough one, but my vote goes to Cindy on this one. Absolutely tough. I can only imagine it's going to be tougher in this second topic that is coming up because we have more to come with Al and Cindy after we count all of your votes on this first topic. Like Naomi's here for Al. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Naomi.
And yes, Alice, wait, the next episode is 200. Man, I get emotional just thinking about that right there. 200. Woo! Man.
That is going to be a special one. Phil, we saw your vote there. That is right. We saw your vote. Thank you so much for voting for Al. Okay. This is cumulative, and we will be counting all the votes. We have them all tallied in the back here. We are going to continue with this on the second topic now. So let's find out what that second topic is from Avi himself. Topic 2 for Al and Cindy.
Great.
Topic number 2, guys and gals and pals watching and commenting here on this Saturday night. We appreciate you joining us. Guys, just a quick little plug. Our 200th episode will be debuting live, as always, July 27th, 2024. We've only had 4 pre-recorded segments. You have to guess which ones they were. But on July the 27th, 2024, a very special edition of The Green Room will be airing. We hope you guys enjoy it. Just to give you an idea of what's coming up, we do have the great rap battle between myself, Tretch, Kid, and Play. That'll be airing in August. And, of course, guys and gals and pals, the second round reveal show. We're turning this into a show. Those who advanced to round number 2 will find out in real time as I pick names randomly of the second rounders. I will place their name in a bowl. Some laminated photos with their name on it will appear. And we'll find out as I draw name after name, we'll find out who will be facing who in the second round. Randomly, the second round matchups will air in a Second Chance Bowl live in August. And then we have a promo special where essentially every person matched up against their opponent, their competitor, a fellow participant, will direct their objectives towards them via a promo. That'll be the promo special show. And then, of course, that all leads up to the second round of the TKN Celebrity Tournament. We're happy to say it is the biggest of its kind, but through these conversations as well, we benefit from it. I want to be rendered speechless because, again, that's how this thing learns. So, guys, we love this tournament, and we love people who are watching it, and we also appreciate those who are participating in it, like Al Snow and Cindy Pickett, as I will right now bestow upon them our second topic. Guys and gals, this is a thought-provoking topic about all things philosophy because we should have a love of wisdom. It could carve out space for wrestling with life's most important questions. I think we should study philosophy not as a humdrum cul-de-sac, but as interstate dotted with hitchhikers needing to find their way home. That's why we should study philosophy. The question I have, and I'll ask Al this question first, we'll rotate the order. How important are the intentions versus the consequences in weighing the morality of an action? Guys and gals who are commenting and watching our show, how important are the intentions versus the consequences in weighing the morality of an action? Al, whenever you are ready, good sir, the floor is yours.
Okay. I would think that the intentions are tantamount. They're everything. The consequences of an action you can't control. The intentions behind said action are everything, because you can control those intentions. You can make a choice. You can make a decision. The conversation we had earlier, that is the only thing that in life you can control are your own intentions. You cannot, as much as we would wish that we could, you cannot control those consequences. You can do something, take an action, make a decision with the best of intentions, and it have adverse consequences. You can take an action, make a decision, and you can have the most negative intentions, and it can have a positive consequence. And a lot of times in life, even though we don't want to admit it, there are moments where we've all, every one of us, have done and taken selfish, self-interested intentions that have borne positive actions. At the end of the day, the ultimate truth on this planet, no ifs, ands, or buts, contrary to what the popular belief is in today's society, the reality of the fact of the matter of life is that it comes down to one thing, and that is that there are 8 billion people on this planet, and there is only one human being that I ultimately have control over, and that's me. And I try to behave in the best of intentions every day, and ultimately I fail because I'm just human. There are always going to be selfish motivations and self-interested aspirations and inclinations. But I think that more often than not, in spite of my own shortcomings and own failings as an imperfect human, that the consequences thereof of my actions have borne more positive things in this world than negative, and I think that's really ultimately at the end of the day on the balance sheet what we really can aspire to.
Thanks for your honesty. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I beat myself up more. I always say maybe we should beat ourselves up with a feather, not a hammer all the time. But I grab that old hammer.
You shouldn't beat yourself up at all. You are what you are. And so why beat yourself up over something that you are what you are? But if you're a good person, I think more on the ledger sheet, you're going to have good consequences, even if the intentions were not necessarily holistic or self-sacrificing like everyone would like to tell you they are, which that is complete horseshit.
It is horseshit.
They're not.
Yeah, it is horseshit. You're right about that. I think a lot of times people are even today competing to inspire. You see that a lot.
Everyone wants to be self-sanctifying, self-sanctimonious, self-righteous. Yes. They want to be virtue signaling. Listen, one of the truest things in the Bible, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, and there's
so true.
One of us that ain't got a house built of complete and utter glass.
Totally true.
So why are you throwing stones?
I would agree. I just want to know how the words through, though, thought, and though don't rhyme, but pony and baloney do. Very, very.
I know. Yeah.
Always kept me up at night.
Pony. Yeah.
Al, really quickly, before I kick it over to our good friend Cindy, my question for you is this. Do you think, but just based on your own experiences, I don't want to generalize, but do you think people sometimes mourn over their own inadequacies?
No. I think they ignore their own inadequacies. And I think, quite honestly, I think people generally, I think all of us are a lot better than we actually think we are. I think everyone really,
that's refreshing. Yeah.
Are really decent, really wonderful human beings. I think just because of circumstance and situation and perception, and judgment, that we and then we hold ourselves to a standard that we can never aspire to become. We're not going to be perfect.
No.
We're not. And if you just accept that, and you accept that everyone is trying to do the same thing you're doing, which is just trying to make it through the day and be the best they can possibly be, then you'll be all right.
And especially
You
as
know,
you mentioned, as
We're all
long as you're,
pretty, I think we're all pretty cool. I mean, really, quite honestly,
I'd like to think that too. I
there's
really
some
would.
shitheads, you know.
But
they're the personality disorders that are out there. Yeah, but for the most part, even the personality disorders are just dealing with their own issues and their own problems. So
I think you have a truth teller personality, which is great and refreshing, because it's common for people like you, and there aren't too many, Alan. I say this with the utmost respect, of course. You care more about being respected, as you mentioned, than being liked, and I respect that wholeheartedly. Yeah. And you brought up something about people who can't be transparent. Can you imagine the mental gymnastics they have to go through? Oh my God, just the mental burden.
Too tiring.
Too tiring.
I'm too old. Too old.
No,
I don't have enough patience to do it anymore.
Thank you for sharing your mind and your heart, my friend. I really appreciate that, and I know our viewers do. Cindy, I would like to ask you the same question, my friend. The question, of course, that we have for this topic, guys. And guys, this is our third topic. Our second topic. How important are the intentions versus the consequences in weighing the morality of an action? Whenever you are ready, my friend, the floor is yours.
Well, the morality of an action lies in the intent behind it, but intentions always matter more. And like if a person does something for themselves and it benefits everyone else, then it's a moral action. If a person does something for themselves and it harms other people, it's an immoral act, because immorality is harming other people. Like, for example, if we find an animal is suffering, killing is an immoral act. But if you're putting the animal out of its misery, do you take it home and try and nurse it back, or do you put it out of its suffering? And that's a moral choice. In nature, it's morally right to put the animal out of its suffering. In God's world, it would be considered immoral because you're killing. Like Hitler, if someone were to have assassinated Hitler while he was transporting all the Jews to their death, they're killing another person, but you're helping humanity. So is that a moral act or is that an immoral act? You're killing a person, but you're also doing it for the good of others. Assisted suicide, is that a moral act or an immoral act? Some people will say it's moral, some people will say it's immoral. So I just think that, I don't know, we've all become comfortably numb. And, Roger Waters' song. But I think intention always matters more than the consequences as far as a moral act, choosing it to be moral or immoral. It's funny. It's a really esoteric question. It's really, there's a lot to that. What's moral? What's not moral? What's right? What's not right? And as far as suffering or helping others.
Do you think, Cindy, that today in 2024, is it possible for most people to sacrifice all their material comforts and completely align themselves with social service to be of service to others?
Is it possible? I think it's possible for some.
Do you feel like there's less and less of a desire for that?
To give up all, like Greenpeace, before you give up. I mean, I knew a well-known illustrator who my children used to play with his children, and they just they sold their house, they sold everything and went as a couple to Greenpeace. And that's, to me, exactly what you're asking. And some people find value in that. I think you know, I've always wanted to be a photojournalist. I could give up everything and travel and take, you know, pictures of things happening in the world. I've always wanted to do that. So, you know, yeah, I think so. What do you think, Al?
Yeah. Do you think that that's the case, Al, overall? I mean, in the literal sense, you're right. As far as the question, is it possible for one in 2024 to sacrifice all of their material comforts and completely align themselves with social service?
Why do your possessions own you instead of you own your possessions?
Yeah.
And Cindy, go do it.
Yeah.
Why are you not doing it? If that's what you've always wanted to do, why are you not doing it?
Oh, believe me, it's on my bucket list. I mean, I'm
Why
you know,
is there a bucket list? Because really the only bucket list is the one you're going to kick.
I know.
So
Well,
just go do it. What
I know.
are you waiting on?
Well, I do it.
Go buy cameras. Get your ass
I
out
have
of the house.
cameras. I'm a photographer. I
Go get
always-
on a plane and go someplace and go take
I'll
photos.
go to Greece. How's that?
Go to Greece. Yes. Yes. I mean, why do we define our lives the way we do?
Well, it's not
Right.
easy financially
Yeah, it is.
to just
It's
go
always-
anywhere
Oh, yeah, it is.
anymore.
Anytime.
I don't
It's easy.
trust. I have such a hard time trusting the airlines anymore, and just
I don't trust
you know,
anybody. And you know what I've done? I've been in 43 different countries. And I grew up in a middle of nowhere in Ohio. I made one choice when I was 14 years old. And for 42 years, because of that one choice, I've been able to literally go to the Middle East numerous times.
That's
Australia,
incredible.
Tasmania,
Mhm.
India, South Africa.
Well, that was the best part of my career was travel. I got to be paid to go travel and work, but I always had a car, you know. And
you could make all of that happen again. I
Thank
don't
you.
know why we all limit ourselves on our own self-beliefs, because everything we want is right there at our fingertips.
Sure.
It's possible to do. There's nothing that's impossible.
intention. Yeah.
You could do it.
Yeah.
You could do it, and you could have a whole different life and a whole different experience and
Mhm.
a whole different story, and you could literally have a whole different career that might give you a whole different notification and relevance and appreciation and
Definitely.
rewarding and you could affect so many other lives.
Mhm.
Think about every decision you've made in your life, and every decision you've made has affected someone else's life
Sure.
to some degree. You know,
Definitely.
do it. You're an amazing person. I do not know why you just aren't out there doing it right now. I really don't.
Well,
And I
I'm
know that sounds crazy. I get it. I understand. I'm not a motivational speaker or anything like that.
yes, you are.
No,
You
I'm
should
not.
be. Well, you
I-
are. You just don't.
I don't think we need titles to define who we are. You
Yeah.
are a great
No.
speaker and you do
just
motivate
go
people.
Do things.
exactly.
Go do things. Go out. Walk out the door.
It's kind of like what we talked about earlier, Cindy. If you remember, the greatest part of, and you know this, Cindy, because you taught actors as well. And I used to love always telling them to discover the subtext in the script, to not worry just about memorizing lines. Where's the subtext? If the writer puts something
You're
down,
writing the script.
yes,
You are writing the script in your
you
life.
are.
Yeah.
You are. And it is your duty as an actor. It's your duty to be able to discover subtext, identify it, and then be able to apply it to said scene. And if we could do that in our real world existence, our lives, that would be amazing
can.
as well. There's
You can.
subtext that we can
You're
uncover and
doing it right
discover.
now, Avi. You're making this podcast thing. So
Well, it's
Yeah.
it wouldn't exist if you didn't have it, and you wouldn't have all these people connecting if you weren't doing it, and
Oh.
you wouldn't have these interactions. And the same goes for you, Cindy. You're doing things far beyond the scope that you even realize in your life every day. So why are you not just picking up and going doing what you want?
Cindy, is
Right.
there? I mean, would you be able to take that advice and be able to maybe prioritize this now? Because it is something you've told me personally as well that
You
you
don't
really
have
are
to
passionate about.
prioritize anything. You just have to make a decision. You
Well,
just
you
have
know,
to make a choice. That's it.
Writing is also one thing.
You do
that I'm
it.
good at, but I'm,
You do both at the same time.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
awesome. Just go do it.
Al, I
Thank
promise you, of all the scripts I've read, she wrote such an incredible script.
Yeah,
The one
but
that
part of writing the script is having life experience, and you could go have even more. I'm telling you, man. go
I've
out
had
there.
many wonderful experiences. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
I wake up with my gratefuls, but the COVID kind of did something to everybody in their own way. But for me, it kind of grounded me, and I haven't found my wings yet.
But you do agree, Cindy, that our ambitions never take a vacation, right? Our ambitions shouldn't take a vacation.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I still
Life on vacation. Do what you love to do.
Mhm.
Don't wait for 2 weeks a year. Go do what you like to do. You know, I've been on vacation for 42 years. You know,
Yeah, well, every day. Yeah, every day I do something wonderful. I mean, you know, I have a garden. I love my garden. Today I went out and looked at because it was supposed to rain. I looked at my broccoli. There were 6 plants. There was one missing, and my brain went, "Whoa, what was it? Did I plant 5?" But there were. But they're like my children, you know. I love the summer. I love gardening in the summer, and I take pictures of my garden and, you know, send it to people. I mean, I'm a real Pollyanna. I really love life, and I really do.
My wife has a garden, and I'm now obsessed with it. Yeah,
a vegetable
Same
garden.
thing, right? And they're just like my children because I have 6 kids, and they're like a vegetable too. So
yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool if we were able to learn our last lesson first in life. That'd be kind of neat. But maybe we wouldn't be able to handle it.
It's not gonna work that way. So
yeah, no, you're right, because we won't have any wisdom and stuff. But I do have a great appreciation for you guys for sharing again your viewpoints and your hearts and your minds. It's incredible to do what you guys did today, because I know that we never wake up intending or expecting to inspire people, but I know you guys do, and that's why I love being able to shine a light on who you are as people, as human beings. The person behind the persona is just so much more. You can never, ever appreciate a person less than the character you thought that you essentially grew up watching. Working with
has that character in them, so you should appreciate everyone.
That's it.
You know,
it's easy to do that too. Yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah.
When did you change your glasses from sunglasses to regular glasses?
Like a magician, isn't it?
Wait a minute, I can see his eyes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, you guys, again, thank you. It's this wouldn't happen without you guys. And again, I do want to
wouldn't happen without you, Avi. So thank you.
Al,
appreciate that.
Great meeting you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
This was great.
Well,
I do want to play a video for Al real quick. I thought about something though. If Carmen Sandiego and Waldo got together, would their offspring be completely invisible?
Might not be able to find them. Yeah.
No, that's true. It's very true. Cindy, anything?
Diego constantly moving.
Anything you would
spy? You know what I mean?
Got to think of it. That's a good script. That would be a really good script, actually. I like that. Cindy, anything you'd like to let our audience know, or Al? The floor is yours right now, my good friend.
You can follow me on social media at The Real Al Snow, because there are some fakes. And if you want to fake being me, I'm just going to message you and go, look, aim the bar higher. I'd choose,
right.
Brad Pitt or George Clooney. I don't know what you're thinking.
I don't know why. Why would you say that? Aim the bar higher. Let me tell you, and I think, Cindy, I don't want to speak for you, but you're all class, and you're as real comes. You've helped so many people, students alike, not to mention individuals that, again, like you mentioned, are in need of it. Regardless of their status, you really see people and treat them as the human beings they deserve to be treated as. And I want to say this to both of you guys. I know it's, again, sounds sappy, but they call it a present because it's a gift, and your presence is a present. It really is. The fact that you guys are here, I like this moment in time.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, Avi.
Thank you.
Cindy, I'm going to bid you do first, my friend. Thank you again. The results of this match, we're going to find out a bit later about that as far as who moves on to round number 2. Cindy, I will see you soon, my good friend.
Yes, we will. Okay. And bye, Al. If I never see you again, you're great.
Much a pleasure, Cindy. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Al, I have to say this because it is your birthday. And once again, celebrating birthdays is something that should happen unless someone's celebrating mine. I don't like it.
It's the 61st anniversary of my escape from the ovarian Bastille.
I could have said it better myself.
Yeah.
This is for you, my friend. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. Oh, Lord.
Very cool.
Oh, yeah. Got a lot of traffic. Oh, man.
That's
my
awesome.
daughter. That's one of my daughters, Brittany. Can I say, that's my son. One of them.
Mickey Doyle.
My bucket shirt. That's a movie I did on Natural. Yeah. That was almost for the holidays. That's my wife.
That's amazing.
She's wonderful.
Rudy.
Rudy. Yeah. Rudy. Yeah. All of these things I've gotten to do, all because I just made it. What got to me and the experience.
The stand-up world, yeah.
All because of just choosing to follow my dream.
Incredible. Incredible.
All based off of literally one thing, just making a decision.
Sure.
I cannot impart upon everyone out there sincerely. Stop looking outside of yourself, please. You have control over your life. I know you believe you don't. I know you feel that things are outside of your control, but you can do absolutely anything you want to do. I'm no better than you. I'm no different than you. I didn't come from money. Both my parents grew up in Eastern Kentucky. We weren't abject poor, but we weren't wallowing in cash. And I grew up in a town in the middle of nowhere in Northwest Ohio. And, I just made a choice. I made a decision, and you can too. You can do anything you want to do. Just go do it. Don't give up on yourself. More than you don't give up on anything else, just don't give up on you, because you're worth it and you can achieve it if you really want to do it. Just go do it. God, you have more power inside you than you could ever possibly imagine. Why are you just accepting the way life is? I don't understand. And I can say that because I'm no different than you. I'm no better than you. I'm no worse than you. And you can use whatever justification you want. But at the end of the day, you can find a way or you can find an excuse. And that's the reality of the situation. You can get whatever you want, or you cannot have whatever you want. It's your choice. You can or you can't. Those two words are the most truest words in your vocabulary. Can and can't. And they're a matter of choice. You can have absolutely everything you want, or you can't have everything you absolutely want. That's you. That's 100% your choice. Tell yourself whatever circumstance, situation you have that you're dealing with, that you wish to make yourself a victim, or you can take control and make yourself into anything you want to be.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, man. That really speaks to me, as did everything that you expressed tonight. I really appreciate your time, my friend. Happy birthday. Did you have a nice time, Al?
Oh, I've had a wonderful time. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. You guys have been amazing, and I really enjoyed it. I love these deep conversations. I don't really normally get to have them. Normally it's just about wrestling and, oh, you're going to beat this guy and going to do that and things like that. But yeah, philosophically, I get to expound my deep thoughts and my own personal viewpoint, which not everybody agrees with. And guess what? I don't care if you do or don't. It doesn't.
There could be a thing as
reality.
philosophically fun, right? We could have philosophical fun.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but
absolutely.
it doesn't change the reality of the situation. No matter
No.
what philosophy you have, there is a reality, and then there is your perception.
Sure.
And reality doesn't change.
No.
Perception does.
Yes.
So,
and I'm glad that you were able to bring that up, and hopefully our viewers, which I know were definitely touched by everything that you expressed wholeheartedly, my friend. Thank you for joining us. I will be in touch real soon. And guys and gals, please follow Al Snow. Also, wrestlers, guys and gals.
on Netflix.
Gosh, Al, I mean, watching this on Netflix, I think a lot of people that weren't wrestling fans all of a sudden realized that they were. They just didn't know it. This was a groundbreaking series. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's a testament to Greg Whiteley. I've said that on I don't know how many interviews. Greg Whiteley and the crew, his people that worked with Greg. I mean, they were all so incredibly talented, so insightful, so they quite honestly, I just was what I was. I wasn't going to be anything different. I wasn't going to act any different. I wasn't going to say anything different. And I told Greg that. Greg, though, put together and pieced the puzzle to tell a story in such a dramatic and amazing and talented fashion. So
I'm glad you're such a big part of it, Al. And again, Netflix, guys and gals, I'm sure there'll be a season 2. I'm sure. I'm crossing my fingers. So. Me too. And guys and gals, OVW, Al Snow provides and promotes other people's voices. A lot of talent that are extremely gifted can be seen on OVW. Al, where could people find OVW, my friend?
Yeah, they can go to ovwrestling.com or ovwacademy.com and check it out and find more information on there. And, if you haven't seen it yet, go to Wrestlers on Netflix. I kind of biased, but I think it's pretty cool.
And last question, Superman or Batman?
Batman.
Got to be Batman.
It's the only real true superhero.
I totally agree. My friend, happy birthday, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you, Avi.